In this video here, I wanted to go over just some basic moves. This is for Zeddy. He's a 10-year-old Icelandic. I've been riding him about a month now, and he came and he was real bracy. He was a stud up to 8 years old. He really didn't know much before he came, and so he kind of just wanted to go his own way. He doesn't get bothered by much, but there wasn't much feel, so the exercise I'm going to show you here was a great help in getting him going, and I still do quite a bit of it. So it's just, can you get lateral flexion? Can you get flexion in the head and neck? Bending him back and forth. And the way I like to do it is I'm going to pick up my inside hand to ask for that flexion. And can I get him soft and light, and a little bit of licking and chewing? That's actually encouraged. And I'm only looking for no more than 90 degrees. I don't believe that they need to come around and stick their nose on your toes and things like that. You know, unless it's an emergency and you just absolutely have to. But can you get a nice flexion? I'm actually looking for, can I flex each vertebrae down the horse's neck? And we'll talk about that more in another video. But we're just looking for that flexion. So again, I'm lifting the rein to ask for that flexion, because I don't want to pull back on the bit. Pulling back puts pressure on the tongue. If I lift, I'm just on the corners of the mouth. So I'm not putting any pressure on the tongue. In this direction, he's a little stiffer. He tends not to want to flex. You can see right here in this part of his neck, he's not really bending. So I'm just waiting on him. There, so that's pretty good. So that's the first piece, is can you get a nice lateral flexions both left and right where the horse is soft. Not a lot of moving around in their feet. He did some, so I'm going to ask again. So I'm lifting, saying, can you flex? Come this way. Thank you very much. Now, the second piece to this is, can I ask the hind to step around? So I'm going to first get the flexion, then can I move the hind, and then can I move the front. So I want each piece to be separate in the beginning, then we can put them all together. So if I pick up, I ask the flexion, and this time I'm not going to go as far. If we have 90 degrees here and straight ahead, you might flex 20 to 30 degrees. So I get that flexion, I want him to get soft in my hand, and can he just stay soft in my hand? Right there. Just a soft flexion, that's pretty nice. Now I'm going to come on with my right leg to ask his hind to step off to the left, keeping him soft in my hand. But I'm not going to get the hind to move over from my rein. I want it to all happen from my leg. So I got the flexion. I'm holding him soft with my hands. Now I come on with my leg real soft and say, hey, can you move your hind around? If he doesn't move, I'm going to tap him a little bit with my whip. So I get soft with I stay soft with my leg, and I encourage him with my whip. So I don't have to get big. Now I halted, but I still kept him flexed with my hand. So I still want him to stay soft here until he can stand here nice and quiet. And that's pretty good there, and then I'll let him have a little break. So again, it's, can you flex? Can you step over with the hind softly? Halt, stay flexed, and then allow him out of it. So I'll do that again. I pick up, I'm going to flex him. That's nice. Now waiting on him, he wants to back. Now I'm going to ask with my legs, softly, quietly. If there's no response, I tap him with the whip to say, hey, listen to my leg. Asking him to do a turn on the forehand or disengagement. So I'm saying, move that hind, stay soft in my hand, but I'm not asking you to move with the hand. I'm asking you to move with my leg. There. And now he kind of quit on me, so I tap again. So I'm waiting on him. He's giving me 1 or 2 steps and then he gets real heavy and he quits on me. I want him to give me a couple steps until I'm waiting for him to get soft off of my leg. There. And that's better. He finally moved off of my leg, and so I still have him bent and soft, and now I give. If I would have stopped right away, he would have just learned to stay heavy. I'm looking for him, when I come on with just a soft feel with my calf, I like to say, if you put a baby's hand between your calf and the horse's side, would the baby be crying? If the baby's crying because you're squeezing the hand so much, it's too much pressure. So can you get it softer, lighter? And I'm doing that by activating the whip. When I come on soft with my calf, I want the horse to move off of that. If they don't, I don't get firmer with my leg, I get firmer with the whip. So I'm going to do it this way now. I've got him soft, he's flexing nice, so I come on softly with my calf. There's no response. I tap him with the whip, saying, pay attention. Now he wants to just walk off, so I'm going to block him with my outside rein, stop the outside shoulder. And I just pick up to block that. So I still have the bend. I'm saying move your hind, stay soft in my hand, move your hind. There was 1 step. Now he's leaving, so I put a little feel with the outside rein to stop that shoulder. There's a step. And there's tiny. There, he finally gave it, and so I'm going to say, oh, thanks. Now I don't want to give him the rein yet till he stays soft for a moment, and now I can give it to him. If you don't break the pieces down, then it all just kind of comes together, so when you pick up the rein, the horse just starts going around. I want the horse to recognize this is just a lateral flexion. When the leg comes on, means move the hind end over, and then when I open up with my body and my hands a little bit, that means we move the front end around. So we'll do this side again. I pick up, I get some flexion, that's nice. I come on softly with my left calf. There's no response, so I tap him with the whip, say, ah, thank you very much. He wants to kind of walk off, so I catch him with the outside rein here, saying move, yes, thank you. Can I get another? There we go. And ideally, I'm trying to get in time with this foot. When this foot's about ready to leave the ground is when I say, yes, pick it up and step it over. That's when I'm going to activate more to say, step that hind up and across. And then as soon as the horse does, I'm like, ah, that's it. It's not just this constant feel. It's almost like I'm breathing down my leg in time with the horse. So we'll try this side again, see if we can't get him a little softer. So he's soft in my hand, that's pretty good. Now I come on with my calf softly. There's no response, so I right away come in with the whip and say, don't check out. There, and that was pretty nice. So I got a nice movement of the hind. Now I'm going to open up, come on with my right leg a little bit and say, can you step the front end around? And again, my left hand is more lifting. He wants to walk off. There the hind's moving, so I'm waiting on him, saying, can you step the left front over? He's pivoting around it there, and then I give it to him. He finally let go, moved it around. So it's like I'm opening up. Imagine whatever hand you're using is attached to that front foot. So if you want the front to step over here, it's like you're going to take your hand, and it's more of an image than it is you're actually doing. But it's like you've got a puppet and you're pulling the strings of the legs. You're saying pick up and move it over here, pick up and move your front over there. But do it from moving that hind in the beginning. So again, I get the flexion. There we go. Now I ask the hind. He's kind of checking out, and that's not bad. Now I ask the front, so I open up. Not, so. I'd like him to, not to get heavy. Step around there. And I'm going to give, and I can actually allow him to walk off. So I was waiting on him until he actually crossed over with the front. So I'm opening up this hand, and I'm blocking a little bit here. This hand, the outside reins, keeping him from walking forward and leaving and saying, step it over there. So I'm going to go the other direction now. So I get the flexion. Now I come on with my calf. That's pretty nice. And now I ask the front to step around. Another thing I can do is, see how I've got the whip in the shoulder hand now? Is I can tap him on the shoulder here to say, step your front over here. He's just moving the hind end around, so I'm waiting. There it was a good step, and so I let him have that. And maybe you ride with two whips. A lot of times with the green horses I ride with two whips, because that way I can touch the shoulder, I can touch the hind whenever I need. So again, and I pick up, get lateral flexion, wait on him, nice. Now I'm going to come on with my leg to say move your hind end over. Good. And then I open, soften the active leg that was asking the hind over here. And then I come on softly with this leg here. And then I'm going to talk about what most people tend to do. When we ask for the front to go over, we tend to open this leg here and do this. When you do that, it actually locks down on the horse's rib cage and shoulder here, and locks that shoulder and keeps it from coming this way. So when you ask the front to step over, really try to keep this leg soft and come on with the outside leg, and don't make it big with the outside leg either. If the horse isn't moving, maybe you need a little encourager, the whip. So I'm asking him to step around. There. But I'm staying soft with my right leg. Yes, there was one step. There was one step. Every time he gives me a step, I give him a little tiny like, "Aw, thank you." So he knows he's doing the right thing, and so that's pretty good. So just to recap, get the flexion first. You want to be able to have that. Then you get the flexion. You ask the hind to move. And then when the hind's nice and soft, and you can do that both directions and they're soft, then you go from the hind and say, "Oh, how about you move the front end around?" And you get that. And that's the thing I start with when I'm starting a young horse. These are the very first things I teach them when I get on. And as soon as they move that front, then I allow them to walk off and then they can start going. Appreciate your time. We'll see you in the next one.